right, welcome back into the studio for Mixed Media Basics. So this is some of you have been waiting a long time because you've requested that I go through the distressed watercolor pencils, kind of give a little review, overview of them. It's taken me a while just because of the way things worked out with my schedule and everything, but they're here and we are going to go through them. And I thought, well, let's just do a couple of others as well. So we're going to go through the Derwent Inktense pencils, which are water soluble pencils as well, and also the Stabilo All. Now, the Stabilo All is not, they have other things that they can do that I know that these can't do, but we'll review that. But they are a water-soluble pencil. And I thought it would be just good for people who want to know more about the Stabilo All specifically, then they can see it here. So today, we're going to go through, I have cut out little pieces here for us to kind of do some sampling, put them through a little rigger. So I have a piece of plastic, black construction paper, and then I have 3 little swatches, excuse me, of watercolor paper. It's pretty lightweight, but I did want watercolor paper specifically for each of these. So I've done that for all 3. Now the plastic may not be good for some of them, as we probably all can guess, and good for others, but I wanted to definitely show what some of these pencils were capable of. So we're going to start off with, oh, you know what else I was going to do? I was going to also do the woodies, the Stabilo woodies. So let me grab those really quick. So I can also demonstrate those a little bit with you. They're very similar to the regular Stabilo All. There are some slight differences and we'll talk about those. So I'll be right back. Let me go grab those. Okay, I keep my Stabilo woodies in my Arting on the Go bag. So these are chunky watercolor pencils. They're so we'll run through those as well. And so I've cut some paper for them. Now the watercolor paper I'm using, this is the Jack Richardson 88-pound acid-free 6x9 sheets that I've cut into 3 sections. I'll list it below like I always do. I list all the products will be listed down below. All right, so I have a few additional items I'm pulling out. Some water in a spray bottle, some fluid medium, and some regular paint water, just regular water. That has a little gesso in it. So I'm gonna actually, just so we don't have anything playing against us, so just so we don't have anything playing against us here, I'm gonna get out a separate tray and put some fresh water into this for us to have for dipping specifically. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna be using these as well. So the Stabilo All pencils, they're soft, they're waxy, which leads to the fact that they can mark on any surface, hence this little plastic piece. This is not an artist colored pencil, you know, for drawing or sketching. It is a mark making pencil that does come in a very small range of colors. So they can write on plastic, film, mylar. They work great on glossy paint that has dried. It does have to be dried, so keep that in mind. Can't write on wet stuff with them unless it's a water area, you can, and I'll show that to you. So they're available in 8 colors. They come in white, black, which I have a ton of, red, blue, brown, yellow, which for some reason I can't seem to find. I do have it, and orange. Actually, it also comes in a green. Oh, I missed green, I'm sorry. It does also come in a graphite. So these are not available in color sets. You have to purchase them by the each. So once they're activated with water and they dry, the color is permanent and can be worked over with other mediums. That is something that is absolutely fantastic about the Stabilo All. Now the MSRP, or manufactured suggested retail price on these, are $2.17 per pencil. I did find them for $1.75 each on Blick. I did see that there are some lower prices on off-name companies. If you want to check out the smaller small businesses, I think that you'll probably find them for less there. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how these will mark on plastic. They are gorgeous. They work so well. There are awesome. It works on plastic. Awesome. They will write on glass. So that's excellent. Now, some of the things is, someone asked me once, why do you have a white Stabilo? What do you use it for? Not much. Unless I have black paint down and I want to go in and do a highlight, say on some text or something, around something, then this comes in handy. So I thought I would show you it on the black, because it does quite stunningly on the black. And this is just construction paper, so it's not really even black, it's more of a charcoal gray. So I'm going to also show you, by dipping it in, we can get a different look. It's more of a milky kind of look. Now that is in part because it soaks in so much to this construction paper. Okay, now I've been meaning to try the orange. Yep, the orange really appears well here as well. I don't think the darker colors, yellow would probably also do really nicely on here. It's more milky, more translucent when we get it wet. It's kind of soaking into the paper. Okay. I'm going to kind of keep these here. All right, so I am going to show you a couple of different things that you can do with these Stabilo Alls, and you've probably seen many people use them. You might be someone who uses them yourself. I'm going to dip this, and you can get really interesting mark making, bold color. A little bit goes a long way. A lot of fun. Okay, and then I'm going to take a dry one and make some marks here. And then I'm going to actually do it again here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to take some scrap paper and I'm going to cover these two up, and I'm going to come in with a spray bottle. And that's the effect you get when you use a spray bottle. Love it. Absolutely love it. The next option is to come in with a round brush or even a water brush like what I have here. And you can go in and activate it. Doing this. Coming over, you can do some bleed out and get a nice transitional shadow. They're awesome for that. All right. There we go. Okay. So then I'm going to show you some of the colors. I'm going to put these aside. We've got the red. Oop, here's the orange. I was wondering where it was. Orange. Brown. Green. And don't forget there is a yellow. Oops. And blue. All right, and I'm going to use my spray bottle. And you can see it does wick out like the black did over here. It does still leave that crayon kind of look over the watercolor in comparison to where it was dry. Okay, and then there's also a graphite. Now this is the graphite dry. It looks like a standard graphite pencil. We're gonna also do graphite here and spray it with the water. And we're gonna activate it using the water brush. And now I'm going to dip it. It dries pretty quickly. The water comes off of it pretty quickly, but you can see that is definitely activated, at least in part there. Similar to what I did here. Or excuse me, here. This is where I activated, dipped the black and drew. Okay, so we're gonna come in here and I'm gonna activate it using a water brush. You can pull it out and do some really light graphite type shadowing with it, like we did here with the black. Or we can come in and activate it with a spray. Oh, I had a little bit of the brown on there. So you can see when you spray, there's a completely different look. It does not wick out like the black does. And that's pretty well coated. I can get some when I drip it. There's a little bit coming out. You can see it a little bit tinged, the water down here. But it doesn't really wick out like the black did when we sprayed it. So that is the graphite. So I'm going to show you this, if I can get a clean piece here. I am going to spray this one with water. This is the white on the black. We didn't get nearly the wicking. It may be because this is not watercolor paper, it is construction paper. You can see it's starting to a little bit there. You can come over this with a round brush or a water brush and manipulate it. It doesn't really move very far. You kind of have to really overwork it sometimes. But you can get it to kind of blend in nicely. You lose some of that crayon effect. So that is a nice option. Now on the acetate, when you take a water brush, it is going to activate. It does smudge. You can reactivate that with your finger, and you can get that color off your finger and work it on a piece of paper. So it does have limitations. Now, something that I've done is I have done this on surfaces that were really slick, used this to write on slick surfaces, and then I have come on top and used a varnish, a spray varnish, and that seals it in. I have not tried it on plastic, so I'm not positive. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. And I did want to show you just kind of like how these wick out when you use a brush. We're getting some contamination from the other colors, that's fine, but I did want to show you that these do wick out when you work them with a brush that's been dipped in water, or a water brush in this case. Getting a little mud there, but that is another option, and it works across the board on all the colors. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Stabilo Woodies. Very similar. These are really fun for kids because they're so chunky. They're great for taking on the go, and I'm going to show you why I like using them for that. Okay, so the Stabilo Woodies are called a 3-in-1 pencil. Not quite sure why. They're chunky. They're a wax-like crayon colored watercolor pencil. They're great for a variety of techniques, great for play, a lot of play. If you like to come and play, these are a great color option to try and get it in there. If you're limited in what supplies you can take places, but you want color options, this is a great way to go. They're extra thick. They're like a 10mm lead. This is considered 8 standard colored pencil sizes, this lead. So it really resists being broken. It is soft, not super soft like a gel, but it does give you the option to have like really rich strokes and lots of luminosity. They're very opaque, and they're very heavy on the color intensity. So even on dark papers, which we'll see here, they come in 24 different color options, and they do also come in sets. So you can get, there's a 6 set, there's a pastel 6 set, there's a set of 10, and then there's an assorted set of 18. But the manufactured suggested retail price per each is $304. You can find these at Joggles for $2.89 each. Probably lower in other areas. So the first thing I'm going to do is test this out on this plastic. I do not have the black, but I'm going to use the blue, so hopefully you can see it. It does still have some of the abilities to mark on plastic film Mylar. It does activate with water and bead up. It also will smear, just like the other Stabilo all did. Let me see if I can get some on my finger and see if I can, yeah, it'll reactivate on your finger when you pull it up, and you can smudge on other paper if you want. But you can use it on plastic to initially make marks. Okay, so then this is the construction paper. I'm gonna, of course, bring out the white. Highly pigmented. I'm gonna go in with my darker color, the blue. Still very highly pigmented. We can see that very easily. They do have them in gold and a silver, so they do have a couple metallics. And this teal is the bomb. Love the teal. So you can see, you definitely work on dark. I'm gonna really drench these. See, with just spraying, if we have any activation on the construction paper, we do not. However, if you come in with a water pen, no, what did I do that for? Sorry. If you come in with a water brush or a paintbrush dipped in water, you can activate and move them. So that's fun. You can dip and paint with them. This construction paper is not a good demonstration for that because it dries so fast. It really wicks the water down. But that is on the construction paper. All right. So I'm gonna take a darker color and dip. It activates as it goes nicely. It does span out. It does take a little bit more water, I noticed, with the woodies to get it to wick out like that. And we can also use the fluid medium to activate. That material, because if we don't activate it and what we're working on accidentally gets wet, you're gonna see movement out of these. The thing that is really awesome about these, and I don't have the orange, and the other day I needed orange, is you can color mix using these. They mix beautifully. Now I put a lot of water with that, but you can see, oops, get my hair, what's happening there? So I'm gonna do that again. And I'm gonna use the fluid medium. More like a paint rather than like a watercolor like we have over here. But we can color mix, which makes them great for arting on the go. let's see, I have a dark pink, a light pink, brown, teal, light blue, dark blue, dark green, purple, the yellow, the red, the silver, the white, and the gold are the colors that I have. All right, the Derwent Inktense pencils are versatile they're as versatile as watercolor pencils, but they have a firmer texture that allows them to perform with real intensity, such as pen and ink. They are available in strong, vibrant colors. There is a huge plethora of colors. I think there's 72 color options available in the Derwents. They're really rich and intense in their pigmentation. They can be used dry, washed out with water. They can become vividly translucent. And once dry, these are totally permanent and can be worked over with media. They do come available in a wide variety of sets, from a set of 6 all the way down to a set of 72. So I think they have a set of 6, set of 12, a 24 set, a 36 set, and a 72 set. The suggested retail price on them per pencil is $3.39. I did find these at $2.03 online. I buy them individually because I wasn't sure if I was going to like them. So I did not buy a set, which I wish I would have done. But I've been slowly, every time I place an order with Blick, I get a couple more in the colors I've been wanting. So I've accumulated quite a few. I am gonna try it on this plastic just to see. I don't think it'll work. Yeah, not really. These weren't really made for this, but I thought, you know, we might as well try and see. I'm gonna try a lighter color on this black. It shows up, but not as vividly as the Stabilo Alls did. Try a darker color, see how it does. These are highly pigmented, so not surprised there. I don't have a white in these, or else I'd show you that, but pretty nice. Here, I have this really brilliant green. They are very pigmented, so you can see. Actually, let's... On this, they become more translucent when they're activated with water, so I'm not surprised they kind of blend in with this black. Yeah, you have to really work them as well. Okay, so let me put this aside. I'm running out of room. I'm going to show you what happens when you activate it simply with water. You can see the bleed out of the color. It doesn't have that glorious wicking effect like we get with the Stabilo All that I love. But it does wick out and get activated. Okay. That was cadmium orange. This is mustard. You can come in with a wet brush and work them and activate them. Be real specific about where you want that activation to be. You can get in there wet and pull that color out. Get some shadow going on. And you can go in with some fluid medium and activate that as well. pull that color out, get some shadowing going on. And the other thing, I don't know if I have any of my, is you can leave it like this and come in and use your matte fixative on it, which you shouldn't really use indoors. And that will fixate it as a marking, a pencil marking. This red was poppy red. The purple was thistle. I'm gonna use this Shiraz color here, pretty heavily. And next to it, I'm gonna use apple green. And I'm gonna come in the middle and show you that these also, similar to the woodies, you can do color blending. Now, those are odd colors to blend, but you can do color blending. With it thicker like this, I'm going to show you if you spray it, you can get more of intense. You can see where your mark was. You can still, where you blended, you can still see where your mark is. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you with these, and I'm gonna set that aside so we can test out after they're dry whether or not they were activated. They'll reactivate. I also wanted to show you about dipping with these. This is that madder brown, one of my favorite. And you can dip. You kind of have to work it a little bit, but you can dip and get another look. I really enjoy doing that and mark making with it. These are the Tim Holtz Distress Watercolor Pencils. Now, they come in the Distress palette of colors. They are solid sticks of pigment. There is no wood around these, so you're getting a lot more watercolor stick per pencil. They do have little markers here. I don't know if you can see that, where you can pull the paper off. So there's a little tab right there, and then it's cut right there. I don't know if you can see that, but they are. They only come in, there's 36 of colors available, but they're only sold in sets. So right now there are 3 sets of 12 pencils. This is, well, this has picked raspberry. So this is set 1. It has picked raspberry, fired brick, rusty hinge, mustard seed, peeled paint, savage patina, speckled egg, salty ocean, villainous potion, walnut stain, black soot, and picket fence. This has some of my favorite colors in it. That's why I purchased set 1. The manufacturer's suggested retail price on these is $24.99 per set of 12. I found these, the least amount I found these was for $14.99 per set at Joann's. I can't find a Joann's near me, so I would have to purchase those online. I bought these through Joggles because I prefer to shop small. So here you can see, I just found one where it was coming up, and you can pull this to get more pencil revealed under the paper. All right, so the first thing I was gonna do is try it on this plastic. They're really not made to do that, but oh my gosh. Just like a Stabilo All, they are right on plastic. So that tells me they would probably write on the glossy sprays, glossy, on top of glossy material, as long as it's dry, I would imagine. Huh. Now I'm smudging. It does smudge, but it takes a lot of effort to smudge. I do have a little bit on my finger, and it does come off just like a typical watercolor. Let's see if it holds its... let me get more water. Wow, it's not beating up as much as even the Stabilo All did. That'll be interesting. I'm impressed already. It's keeping its mark. I'm gonna set this aside to dry, and we'll come back to it and see if it will re-smudge or if it's permanent. I'll set that to the side. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out some of the lighter colors, and we'll of course test the darker color and see how it does on black. Not as brilliant white, but that does show up on the black. Let's try this. And these are supposed to be highly pigmented. They call them sticks of pigment. And that is pretty brilliant on that dark color. This is a fired brick. Again, very brilliant. So let's take a look at this. When I activate it, it does not move on the construction paper, not unlike the other ones. They're kind of starting to spread a little bit out as that water gets as that paper gets saturated, but not too much. And even here when I'm coming in with a water brush, I have to really massage it to get it to activate and move. And the peeled paint, I'm gonna doodle, and I'm gonna dip and doodle. Ooh. It's kind of like the Distress Oxides. It's a lighter version of itself. They do a beautiful job at holding the mark. That's fun. That is definitely fun. Yummy, yummy. The thing I don't like about this kind of a case is that, and these don't have any, they're gonna touch and offset some color. So you might wanna leave them out until they dry before you put them away. I'm just noticing that as I'm putting them in here. This is the Villainous Potion. Okay, and I'm gonna spray that. See, I don't want any. See how they react on watercolor paper when you spray. Not much bleed out when you just spray them. It's one of my favorite things about the Stabilo All is how it reacts. Oop, we're getting some wicking going on here when you spray them. So it takes a little bit for them to react, and it's not as intense as it was with the Stabilo All. Okay, so I'm gonna come in, get my water brush dry, and activate these with the fluid medium. See how they do. Yeah, you really have to work it a little bit in there. This walnut stain. I'll come in, activate it with my brush. It takes a lot of massaging of that color to get it to respond. But it is coming out just very gently, hesitantly almost. I went over it a bit with the water first, and then I'm coming back in to pull it out and get it to wick out. see. I'm gonna use this black because I want to see. Okay, it is. It's a good intense black, and you can get it to feather out. You do see on some of these, you can definitely, well, kind of all of them, you can see your mark making when you had the dry pencil. Now that makes me curious, if I wet it before, really wet it, do we get the same mark that kind of stays there when we work it? Kind of works in. It gets caught in the grooves of the watercolor paper. Okay, so that is lovely right there. So if you have a highly textured paper, it is gonna get trapped in the highly textured paper and you're gonna see that crayon response. But if you have a smoother paper like this craft paper, it does not do that, and it kind of goes into the crevices of the texture. The first thing I'm gonna do is spray them on one side. So that's nice. And then I'm gonna come in with some fluid medium. Get that activated. Now I'm gonna let this dry, and we are gonna come back and take a look at some of the ways that we have activated with the fluid medium and see if they become permanent by doing so when these are all dry. All right, welcome back. So these have properly dried. These are from the Stabilo All, and we use the fluid medium on this middle section. And as you can see, this is not moving. So that method definitely works with keeping things set and not removing. These are the, actually I think it's just this one, is the Stabilo Woody, and I used the fluid medium on top of this, and I believe, and you can see it's not moving, and I believe that I used, maybe I didn't, I thought I used some of the matte fixative on something. Now, for the life of me at the moment, I can't remember. Did we use it on this? No, obviously not. Oh, maybe I did, and I didn't get a real heavy coat. It's moving a little bit. So that was the Stabilo Woody. This is the Derwent, and I don't remember if I used the matte medium. Yeah, it's moving a little bit, the fluid medium. It's moving a little bit in here. Now these, once they're activated, they're not supposed to move, but you can see they actually are. And then this is the Distress watercolor pencils, and it's changing color. Let's see if, yeah, I am pulling some up here and bringing some in there. Clean this off. So here, I think we did use some of the fluid medium on this. It is not moving. I'm not getting any on here as well when I pick that up. This gives you a really good idea of some of the strong points of some of these different types of pencils, watercolor, water-soluble pencils, and how some of the neat things and ways that they can be used. These are really nice. I do like them. I'm not sure that they'll be my go-to. I don't know. I have to test it to see if you can sharpen it to get a sharp point. That's something I do like about a traditional pencil that has wood on it. You can sharpen it. I'm not sure these would hold up because they're not super soft, but they are, maybe they aren't that soft. Maybe they would hold up to being sharpened. It's something I will need to try, but they're definitely fun. And these will remain my go-to, probably this for travel. The woodies, because they're small and they mix so well. These really mixed well as well. I really liked how they could even go into my travel bag. Anyways, that'll give you an idea so you can make an informed decision on their attributes and different things that they are good for and how they respond and their cost points. So hope this has been beneficial to you, and it will put a close to another month of Mixed Media Basics, the watercolor pencil.